What you drinking there?
Liquid Death. What you drinking?
Gallon of Arizona?
We're going to war, aren't we?
Absolutely. I'll see you on the field. You good?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right. Hi, everyone.
Uh,
Welcome back to the What If We podcast. I'm joined today, as usual, by my co host, Yosh. Don't let him tell you it's Josh. He's wrong. And I'm Andrew.
eh, yeah. No, it's Josh. It's Josh. Don't worry. Don't worry. One day you'll be a big boy, Andrew, and you'll know how to pronounce your words.
My Tigres.
Your Tigre's my Texas barbecue, my Tejas barbecue shirt.
How you been? I know we saw each other a couple days ago, but it's been a minute since
We,
the
we,
people have heard from us.
we got, yeah. Last you guys heard from us, we were starting a book club,
Yep.
pending when I can drive to hell. Um, but no, things have been good. I mean, work is fine. I had some good conversations with my boss just about like what my role is at the parish and like what should be my focus, which was a great conversation because it really provided a lot of the clarity that I was seeking. And as far as like, okay, where should I be spending my time?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want to waste time at work. So, and that was good. And then yeah, things are just, you know, it's funny as adults, right? Like most of your life revolves just about going to work, coming home,
You,
it's
you
like,
spend almost as much time at work as you do at home.
yeah, and then it's just like, when do I have time for like leisure and activities and stuff like that? So yeah, fortunately, like a big part of my new morning routine is I wake up, I go to the gym, and then I go fish for like an hour and a half.
Very
So
nice, very nice.
a little bit of adventure every day. But you, man, how you been doing?
Good. We had a planning meeting for the parish. It was long.
Planning meeting for the whole parish or just something specific?
The whole parish. We did the calendar meeting, so literally going
Mm,
day by day for 365 days. It was
yeah,
two
we
and a
have
half
that.
hours of pain and suffering.
Yep, we have that this week on Wednesday.
But no, it's good. Adding new parts to my role. I'm gonna be the webmaster. And we're talking about combining websites, so it'll make my job even easier. But stuff like that. So it should be good.
Yeah,
And
you should ask the Vatican web designers what was it like upgrading from a 1970s web page to a 1990s WordPress page.
Microsoft Vista.
You mean you mean Windows XP is finally here?
You mean we can add color? But no, things been good. Highlight of the past couple of weeks has been seeing you in person. A bunch of us went to the Tigers game. Uh,
Which they won handedly.
yes. It Look, all I'm saying is I got to start watching the Tigers again because what I watched, the game that we were at when Hunter and I were there, like actively paying attention. We were up as soon as we went down to get beers. Cubs tied it up, so that happened. And I didn't watch the game on Saturday. They lost pretty badly. But then as soon as I started watching the game yesterday, 4-0.
Because where did they go yesterday or Saturday?
They went to Chicago and then they were back home on Sunday.
Home field advantage does affect a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But
that's just life.
I mean, hey, Tigers are still number one.
We are number one.
But yeah, so that seeing you guys, having you guys come over or spend the night was fun. Watching Clarkson's Farm, I've watched 6 out of 8 episodes in one day.
I have yet to watch another episode.
The end of episode 3, man, you're gonna go, are you kidding me? It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Like it's good or it's like
It's good, but it's also it's a very very Jeremy. Anyway,
I just want to Caleb to come back.
Caleb's back episode 3.
Is he back permanently?
Yeah. He finished his tour by that point, so he's back for the rest of the season. I will say this season is the most entertaining as far as like there's good like a lot of fun moments. It's less, and I think they did this on purpose because the first 2 seasons were him learning to farm, and now he still hasn't really learned, but like they're less focused on the farm. It's more on like the pub and like specific moments and things that are happening, because it's kind of like, all right, yeah, the farming's happened. That hasn't really changed as far as like what the process is, which I get. So I think this will be a good season. Next season is focused on, obviously will drop next year. About this year, it's supposed to be about him finishing up the stuff with the pub and
Closing the farm.
No, not closing the farm, but him kind of taking on the British government and stuff like that. Because a lot of the regulations apparently the past 2 years have been really affecting farmers. So we'll see what happens with that. But he said after that, unless something big happens, they'll probably take a couple year break, because hopefully nothing big happens, and it's a lot, farming and recording a show at the same time. So
right. Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's pretty much been my life. So
yeah.
Let's
so
get
last
into...
time we talked about starting a book club, and I think you said we want to start a baseball team now.
Yeah, so I've been inspired by the great Detroit Tigers and how amazing they are doing this year. Number 1 at the moment across.
Best.
We're the best. Some people make baseball teams and they're pretty trash. They're like the Colorado Rockies, but not Detroit. Detroit, beautiful city, and they make the best teams. Love the people. But here, I decided, look, neither Josh nor I are athletically inclined enough in the world of baseball to actually play.
In any sport.
Speak for yourself. I could play ultimate frisbee.
That doesn't require athleticism.
That requires some.
Also, you're just tall.
Sometimes, hey, natural gifts. But anyway,
it's like saying Rhett was good at basketball because he was 6'4".
Details. Anyway, what we are good at, though, is arguing about things. And
absolutely,
we are fantastic at this. So I thought, what if we put our theological knowledge with our sport knowledge? Because this is the thing. You and I are both pretty knowledgeable about sports in general. We're not like experts. We're knowledgeable enough. I can hold a conversation about sports.
We like sports.
So I thought, what if you and I, when we die and hopefully get to heaven, there's got to be baseball in heaven. The Field of Dreams clearly shows that there's baseball in heaven.
Well, here's how I know that God is a fan of baseball. You know how the Bible starts, Andrew?
In the beginning, there was nothing.
In the big inning. In the beginning.
I hate that.
God is a fan of baseball. And then John says it again. In the big inning was the word. John is also a baseball fan.
These are true statements, but also I'm just thinking Field of Dreams. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. It's a baseball field in Iowa, and that's so.
Man, Nick's gotta love that movie.
It's
they just said that Iowa was heaven.
It's such a good movie. I've been to the Field of Dreams, actually.
We still need to get a bottle of Field of Dreams whiskey.
Yes, but so I thought it would be fun if you and I did a heavenly draft. You and I are running, not managing. We're owners of 2 heavenly baseball teams, and we have to select. We got to do a draft of a new team. So I've put together here. I'm gonna share my screen here.
Oh, a stream.
Okay, cool. And OBS is picking me up. So. So here is my thought process. We can go through and we'll just go back to back. And so we're going to pick our skill players, our designated hitter, and a manager. We can choose any saint or blessed. I think servant of God's a little too. That's venerable. Yeah, I think those are minor leagues. Same for the minor leagues. This is major leagues.
So
Blessed.
I can't pick the great Bambino.
No, you cannot pick him. I'm pretty sure he's not in heaven right now.
Definitely in purgatory.
Yeah, but yeah. So first of all, do you have a team name?
The Flying Franciscans.
The Flying Franciscans. If I could type, that would be so helpful. Versus the Celestial Sluggers.
Okay.
And because I am a gracious host,
I won the coin toss.
whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna let you go first. So the rules are no duplicates. It's draft. But you can go in any order you want. So if you want to pick your manager first, pitcher, whatever. We don't have to go, like, if you pick your manager, I could pick my second baseman, whatever. Venerable or blessed, blessed or saint only. I think that's really the only rules. And then we'll give a brief description about each one, why we picked them. So who do you got for me? And I'm gonna do my best to get their name, spell their names right, but please don't come for me.
In the first round of the 2025 All Saints baseball draft, we have from the city of Cupertino, from the Kingdom of Naples, St. Joseph of Cupertino in the left fields.
Joseph of Cupertino. All right, why we have Joseph of Cupertino?
He can fly.
He
can fly.
You know what? That's a pretty good reason right there.
That's hacks right there. It's like,
it's literal hacks. Are you assuming though that people can't fly in heaven also?
I'm assuming that whatever abilities they had in this life, they have in the next life.
I would hope so.
And so he can fly. He's a patron saint of aviators. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm Franciscan.
There you go. All right, I got a bold choice for my first pick.
So in the second pick
of the first round, the Celestial Sluggers at the manager position. I'm picking my manager first because I don't want you to steal this guy. Hailing from Oak Grove, Wisconsin, but died in Detroit, Michigan, Blessed Solanus Casey.
Oh, I wasn't gonna pick him. Don't worry.
Dang.
He wasn't even in the consideration. He wasn't
Look,
even in the running.
I didn't want you to steal him from me. But so I picked Solanus Casey. Look, this is a man who he served as a porter in Detroit. He listened to people's needs. He's got calm leadership, steady wisdom. He's the perfect manager just to, maintain the status quo in the dugout. Nothing's gonna rattle him. He knows how to rally the troops. He's like, guys, we got this. I think he's the perfect manager. I don't think you're gonna find anyone better than him.
All right, so snake draft. So you get to pick second round, first pick.
Yep. So I'm going to pick my catcher. And you know him. You love him. Second round, first pick. Some might know him as The Rock, who's going to anchor this team, St. Peter.
Interesting choice. So, usually catchers are one of the most intelligent players on the team. And you picked an illegitimate Fisher.
He's not illegitimate.
Known for...
Let's be clear. Illiterate.
Illiterate Fisher.
So, look.
Probably can't read, probably can't write, probably doesn't know what the signs are. This is a bold strategy, Con. Let's see how it plays out.
So here's what I'm thinking. He's the Rock. He's here to anchor the team in place. Again, he's going to guide the pitchers. He's got strong arm. He's been fishing all his life. He's got those strong arms. And when he leapt from the boat to reach Christ, he's going to die for every pop up. Like, this man is willing to go into the dirt, whatever he needs to make the play happen. He's the first leader of the church. He's the one that people are looking to for inspiration. I think St. Peter's a solid choice for catcher.
Okay. So,
Okay. Second round,
Second pick.
second pick, Flying Franciscans. Who you got for me?
Round, we have.
Tell me which position
you-
first. Tell me which position first so I can have it ready.
Pitcher.
Okay, you're going for the pitcher.
Hailing from New Haven, Connecticut, we have the one, the only, blessed Michael McGivney.
Dang, that's a good one.
Who did play amateur baseball. Founder of the Knights of Columbus. The All-American Saint. Let's go.
Okay.
Michael McGivney.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You got an American Saint from the land of baseball. I can't even be mad about that. That's a great pick.
Yeah. So, for my third pick.
Okay, third pick. So third round, first
Third round,
pick.
third-
Who do you got? Flying Franciscans. What position?
Shortstop.
Shortstop. All right. Don't
The
screw me on
patron
this.
saint of athletes.
Dang it!
Saint Sebastian, baby.
I had
I'm
him as
thinking
my
this.
I had him as my center fielder.
I'm thinking this. Dude is probably a runner.
Mm.
We need someone who's going to be able to like kind of play that like weird like
You got to be. You have to have a lot of skills to be a shortstop.
Exactly.
That's a 5-tool player right there.
That's exactly why I picked him. Patron saint of athletes. He's got it. He's got it.
Dang. I had
And
I
he's
had him
used to
second
He's
for
used
my.
to things flying at them. He's used to things flying at him and catching them. So
Yep. No, yeah, I had him as center field because you need an all rounder there as well.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a solid pick.
That's a solid pick. That's a solid pick, baby.
Okay.
All right, who you got for your third pick?
Third pick, also at shortstop. This is the most terrifying Saint out there. Give me Saint Michael.
Oh, that's a good one.
Saint Michael, you know him. You know, the ultimate defender, lightning
didn't
fast
think of-
reflexes, full field awareness. This man is, the catcher's
didn't
kind of
think
like the boss. The shortstop is the guy you send him in. He takes care of everything.
Think of the Archangels.
I
Dang
know.
it.
Nothing's gonna get past him, and everyone's gonna have when you have a good shortstop, that's when you have like people are like you feel at ease because you have someone who's gonna take care of the infield. Saint Michael, you don't have a better choice than that.
Okay.
All right, it's back to me again, right? Fourth round.
Yep.
Fourth round, first pick. I'm gonna go for my third base.
Okay.
I picked someone who's got a real great connection with the catcher. They can work the play ace. Someone tries to steal home. No one's getting past the two brothers. Give me Saint Andrew.
Yeah. Good pick. I didn't pick any apostles.
I picked a few. And here, there's one other reason why I put Peter at catcher. He's a little slower than John, and I wanted to make sure if he's a little slower, I want to put him in a place where he doesn't have to run quite as much.
I didn't think about John. That's a good one. That's a good one. John would be good. John would be a good outfielder.
I almost put him at designated hitter for that purpose, but like, no. I want him in the field at catcher. But yeah, no, Saint Andrew.
John is a good outfielder. So for my next pick,
I need to shut up.
for my next pick at catcher, we have, you know him, you love him, the boy from Turin, Italy. Bless Pier Giorgio Frassati.
Dang, I had him as I think I had him at left field.
That's two steals.
That's
baby.
2 steals. Okay, so he's blessed, right? Blessed Pierre.
Yeah,
I'm just
Giorgio.
I haven't listened. Hold on, I'll find. G-I. Keep going. Keep talking.
So, from Turin, Italy, was an athlete himself, was known for climbing mountains, smoking pipes while climbing mountains, challenging his friends to push-up competitions. If they lost, they'd have to go to mass with him. This dude is built like a shit brick house.
I'll bleep that out later.
I have no concerns about this man, like, holding down.
See,
And
I almost thought you would have put him at pitcher. Smoking at the mound, just like Babe Ruth. That'd be all over him.
No. I want him to have that nice fat cigar in
Mhm.
while he's at the catcher's mound. Just like.
Okay.
owning it.
No, yeah, that's he was okay. He was my backup for left field.
See,
So,
I didn't pick any backup.
I had backups
were
ready. I look. This is the way I play. I got backups. I'm ready. because I knew you were going to steal some of mine. Because I have
Okay.
you. I think you have a much greater depth of options as far as Saints. I went much more standard ones. Although you've gotten, I think I've known everyone you've picked so far, which is good.
So is it me next?
Yeah. Yep. You got one more.
All right.
So
At third
fifth
base.
round, first pick.
At third base, bringing the feminine genius,
Don't you dare.
we have St. Joan of Arc.
Dang you! She's my pitcher. That's 3 steals. Okay, actually, I lied. She was my backup pitcher, so I'm okay with that. But I did want to have at least one girl on my team.
St. Joan of Arc is a solid choice. She is going to be the one to like hold it down.
Mm-hmm.
Putting her at third base makes a lot of sense. So typically, third base is usually just I'm sitting at the plate.
Yep.
So I need somebody who's going to almost kind of not necessarily crowd the plate.
She's not going to let anything get past her from that spot, though. She's going to hold that down. No, I was going to pick her for pitcher because she's got the commanding presence. Like when you're looking at the pitcher and catcher, the pitchers like the catcher's job is to worry about everything that can go wrong and try to handle it. The pitcher's job is just to be the beacon of hope, rallying the troops, and just being on their A game. So that's why I was like, Joan of Arc being there makes sense to me. But third base, I think, is a great pick.
Between Joan of Arc and Saint Sebastian at shortstop, plus who I have for second base, there's not going to be a ton of like steals. They're all athletes. They're all soldiers.
Okay.
So you're up.
I am up. With that, I'm gonna get my pitcher. I'm gonna get my pitcher in here because I don't want you. You may or may not have taken this guy, but I think this is the perfect pitcher catcher battery combo here. Are you ready for this? Hailing from, I can't pick him. He's not a saint. Hailing from Rome, the fiery missionary and letter writer, the duo of the flip side of the coin to Peter. We got St. Paul coming in here.
Peter and Paul.
Peter and Paul. I got a great catcher pitcher battery right here. He's the kind of pitcher who's he's gonna throw the whole game. He doesn't miss, but he can adapt. He's writing for different audiences. He's got a whole host of pitches on him. He's got the fastball. He's not afraid to hit the batter too. Like he's gonna make sure they can't crowd the plate. He's not afraid to pull his pitches here. He's willing to do whatever it takes. He's got the adaptability that a pitcher needs, and he's got the fire in him. I think this is an A-class pitcher right here.
My one concern was St. Paul. And St. Peter. A lot of competition between those two. A lot of competition.
I think
whose ego is gonna win out?
I think they got big egos, but I think Peter's willing to look past his ego to hold down the plate. I think that they've got a perfect battery. They work well together. They clash heads a little bit, but I think some of the best pitcher catcher combos do. They keep each other in check.
All right, for your 6th pick, who you got?
My 6th pick. Ooh, who do I wanna go here? All right, I need to get a woman on here. We need a woman here. So, left field.
Left field. Okay.
I also went with an All-American here. Some would say a Native American. Hailing from New York, Montreal, the Lily of the Mohawks, Kateri Tekakwitha.
Interesting choice. Why Kateri?
So I was thinking, she lived a quiet life, but she has an alert presence. She's going to be a reliable left fielder. Track down the fly balls. Nothing's going to phase her. She's going to like her. My center fielder is good. I have some good picks for center field. I want her to be like, look, left field's mine. I got it. Don't even worry about it. Plus, St. Michael's in front of her. He's got like the power presence. I need someone who's going to kind of just ease it, keep the outfield kind of calm. Got to balance it that way. So now, give me a second while I figure out how to spell Tekakwitha.
Tekakwitha?
I think there's an extra K in there. Tekakwitha. Yeah. I think I got that right. All right.
Tekakwitha?
Jake Quellen? All right, who do you got? This is your...
For my 6th pick. Coming in on second base, we have the man who founded the Jesuit order, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Second
Dang,
base.
you suck.
Dude is good. So the thing is like he's a soldier. He's an athlete, zealous after his love for Christ. He's gonna be getting them balls. Between Joan of Arc, Saint Sebastian, and Saint Ignatius, nothing is getting there through.
Like Ignatius is my backup third base.
I'm still one of your backups.
You're still on backups. I think you've only taken one primary option.
So for my 7th pick, out in right field,
the forgotten position.
Another flying Franciscan. Some would say the founder of the Franciscans. We got St. Francis of Assisi. Another levitating boy, likes to fly, seraphic doctor.
Okay. I can respect that. I can respect that. Okay. What do I want to get next? All right, I think I'm gonna go with my first base.
Okay, your first base.
When I think of first base, I think of every time I think of first base, like this is like the heart of the team in a lot of ways. You know, for the Tigers, it was Miguel Cabrera for a lot of it. Just the guy he's your go-to. He's the first point of contact for a lot of things. You want someone who's reliable. And I don't know if anyone who's more reliable than my man hailing from Nazareth, the foster father of Jesus and protector of Mary, Saint Joseph.
That's good. That's good.
You know, he's quiet. He's got a quiet presence. Again, I got a couple quiet presences here and there, but he's going to be catching everything thrown his way. He's dependable, humble. He's not going to go for any glory plays here. He's going to take it. I think he's going to help keep Paul calm too. I think he's going to kind of, when he needs to, just kind of step in there. I think they're going to have a great battery there for pitcher first base. I think, and again, Solana's Casey there. I think he knows exactly how to get them to work together. That's the other thing. That's why I picked Solana's Casey, my manager. He's going to be able to keep the pitcher and catcher. He's going to help keep their egos in check. Get a lot more humble than Solana's Casey.
Mm-hmm. All right, who you got?
Okay, second base. This is a choice.
This is a toughie.
Second base is a hard one to pick because you got to consider a lot of things here. And the guy I picked, there is one problem with him. He's got holes in his hands. But Padre Pio, man, I had to put Padre Pio in there. He's got the sharp insight. He's the mystic. He can see into the human hearts. On the field, he's going to anticipate every play before it happened. He's going to be clutch during those double plays, assuming he doesn't just have the ball go right through his hand.
Okay, Padre Pio.
Slightly more basic pick here, but I had to put him in there. I think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be good entertainment too. The occasional drop play. Michael's going to be there to help him out and get that shot to.
Lots of errors on that one.
Lots of potential errors, but we got a little banana ball going here in Heavenly Baseball.
Well, filling out my outfield.
Okay.
We have the man known for finding lost things. He's gonna find all those pop flies that are lost in the sun. We have Saint Anthony of Padua.
Yeah, I'll give you that one too. I think you got a solid outfield.
A great freaking outfield.
You've ever fit like that's
all Franciscans. Like Saint Anthony's gonna point him out. He's gonna be like, over there. Yep,
I almost think he might have been better at catcher though. Like he's not like no one's gonna be able to steal past him. He sees everything. That's my only. Like I almost feel like a switch with him and Giorgio Frassati might have been in play.
I understand the thought, but it's more so like where are you most likely to lose the ball? It's in the outfield when it's high sun.
That's true.
I understand the thought. Filling out my first base.
Okay.
Another high flyer, some might say. St. Alphonsus Liguori.
Okay. I don't
St.
know him
Alphonsus,
as well. So give me
yeah,
give me a little
St.
something about him.
Alphonsus Liguori. Well, let me pull up his bio here. So, born in the Kingdom of Naples, died in the Kingdom of Naples. He was a bishop, moral theologian, confessor, and doctor of the church. Patron saint of Pagni, Cancello, Naples, arthritis, lawyers, confessors, moralists, and vocations. He can also fly. So anytime somebody's throwing a ball towards him, he's gonna get that airtime, get the ball, break it down.
Okay, I could dig it.
So we got a couple floaters.
You got quite a few floaters. Okay. I'm gonna get my designated hitter in here. This man. Yep. I didn't trust him to be in playing in the outfield or anything. He's kind of wayward. He likes to wander a little bit. Takes him a while to figure out where he's going to be. But when he's on point, he is passionate, preaching with fire. His swings are going to be as powerful as words. Give me St. Augustine.
Interesting choice.
Look, bro literally has a fire for Christ. It took him. The thing is, it takes him a long time to get where he's going. It took him a long time before he was converted. And I don't need someone who's slow. I need someone who's got power hits.
Okay.
And you can't tell me St. Augustine doesn't write with power.
Okay.
I was between him and Thomas Aquinas for my designated hitter. And I think
I wouldn't have done Tommy. I would have put Tommy at catcher.
I thought about him at catcher. I just couldn't think of anyone at pitcher who would work well with him. Who's gonna be that battery?
Bonaventure or Dominic.
I think I don't know. I think him and Dominic would have there would have been some clash.
Him and Dominic were literally. Dominic was the founder of the order that he joined.
Exactly. You never want to work with your boss.
What?
All right. I'm gonna say my right fielder for the end.
All right, who you got in center field?
Center field. The apostle of joy. Loves sports and young people. Give me Philip Neary.
That's a good one.
I think he's got a great attitude. I think he's a good all-rounder. He can be a little flashy sometimes, but I think overall he's a solid pick for center field. He's no Giorgio Frassati like I wanted.
Well, that's unfortunate for you. Designated hitter. Helping to round out the team for the last pick, we have St. Moses the Black.
Love that man. Love that man.
Listen, the dude was yoked.
Yeah.
He's gonna be hitting dingers all day.
Unlike Dingler the other day. Man could not hit a ball if it hit him in the face.
The guy is gonna be knocking it out of the park.
Oh, for sure. I think that was a solid pick right there.
For those of you who don't know St. Moses the Black, the man was literally a murderer, a thief, right? Got kicked out of the kingdom of Ethiopia for murdering people. And then ran away to some monks in the desert to live with them after he tried to rob somebody. Converted to Christianity. And then was so physically imposing when someone tried to rob him, he restrained them, brought them before the brother monks, and was like, "What should I do with him?" He didn't hurt him. He just restrained him. The dude's yoked. The dude's gonna kill.
And being able to have restrained hits, I think he's got I think you picked a solid designated hitter there. Like he's got options with the way he hits, which is a very good tool for a designated hitter. Okay, I think you definitely got me on the designated hitter. I think you have the better pick there. Miriam will argue with you, but yeah, I'm gonna go Moses Black is better DH here.
So for my manager, I struggle here.
All right, so you and I went opposite ends here. I went manager first pick. You're ending with your manager. Who you got for me?
I'm struggling between two because you reminded me of someone else when you picked Solanas Casey. I didn't think of, but I think I got to stay with my girl, St. Rito Cassica. Here's why.
How do you spell that?
Rita, Rita.
Okay, I thought you said Edrito. I was like, I've never heard.
Rita.
Rita. Okay.
So Saint Rita, for those of you who've seen the Disney movie The Rookie, tons of references to Saint Rita in there. The unofficial patroness of baseball. Strong woman, gonna hold it down. It was between her and Blessed Stanley Rother. Farm boy. I just don't think he has the same like commanding presence, like manage people. And I don't think my team needs a lot of like management.
No, I think your team is much more.
I think they need somebody who's gonna like support them. Gonna be that solid, because she's the patron saint of hopeless causes. One of them.
Well, I was like one of them.
So she's also.
If you put St. Jude as your manager, though, I'd be like, that's maybe not the most inspiring confidence you've got for your team there.
But like, okay, quick look at St. Rita's bio. So St. Rita of Cassica. She was known for practicing mortification. She like mortified her flesh. Like, also a stigmatist. Received a bleeding wound on her forehead. She is the patroness of lost and impossible causes, sickness, wounds, couples and marital problems, abuse, and mothers. So she's gonna hold it down.
She's gonna hold it down. I feel like just like based on what her causes are, like what she's known for, she's a little bit more of a reactionary manager. I don't think she's gonna be as proactive as Solana's Casey. That's my only thing.
But I think that's okay, because she's not gonna step in unless she needs to.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not disagreeing. She's a good pick.
She's gonna let the team do it. Also, like going back to Alphonsus Liguori, Alphonsus is gonna like make the moral arguments whenever they try to call somebody out, and he's like, "No, I had him. It's a moral theologian, the doctor of moral theology. He's gonna get those. He's gonna make sure that those umpires are in check.
Okay.
He's not gonna let him get away with anything. And so Rita's not even gonna need to step up.
Okay, we'll go position by position, kind of grade our teams here in a second. But we got one more pick we got to go through.
Who's your last one?
My last one. You know this coming from Northumbria. An English missionary bishop who evangelized to the pagans. You don't know him. You've never heard of him unless you know me. Give me St. Willibrord here.
Why? Other than the fact that you're patron saint. Why?
Other than my patron saint. He's known for his adaptability, cheerful endurance, and missionary boldness. He's got the right field energy. He's not going to give up on the long plays. He's humble. He's very humble. Right field is a humble position. You got to be humble being right field. It's not the most glamorous position, but he's
not a lot of balls coming to you.
Not a lot of balls, but when you do, you're the lone soldier out there. You got to be ready for it. And that man was doing it all by himself up there. And he was ready for it. He played the long game. He handled it. He's going to shut down any hits to the corner. He's going to be alert, ready. He's got the endurance for it. I think he's going to be a solid pick in right field. I don't know if he's St. Francis of Assisi solid, but
St. Francis of Assisi is pretty dope.
Here's my thought. You know, we got the salary cap. We got to have some lower tier guys in there, but we're gonna get a lot of bang for our buck with him. I'm thinking the Oakland A's strategy here.
That's why I have two blesseds.
I'll give you that. I've got
lower salary cap.
Yep.
St. Moses the Black, not really known, lowers the salary cap.
Yep. No, I got you. I that's the thing. I got some really heavy hitters with some of my main people, so I was like, we gotta lower the salary cap if we can't. I think Willibrord's I think he's a solid bargain pick.
See, and the thing is you've got 3 apostles, St. Joseph and St. Michael. Your salary cap is maxed.
Yeah, like that's what I was like right field. I need to lower that. All right, let's go through position, and we're just gonna kind of compare, and we'll do an overall team check. I think both of us had pretty solid teams overall. I don't think anyone had a bad pick, with the exception of maybe my second baseman.
Do you want to start at manager and kind of?
Yeah, let's do manager, and we'll kind of go through there.
I do think you. It's hard to say, because my one concern with Blessed Solana's Casey is he's so humble. He might not say.
I think he's willing to talk when he needs to, but he is, he's about thanking God ahead of time. He's going to let the players do what they need to do, but he's going to be he's really
Yeah,
he's there to keep the ego in check more than anything else, cuz Paul and Peter, I think that's his primary concern is those two. Everyone else I think is pretty solid in what they're doing. They got the right attitude. Those two, they're going to clash. His job is to keep them working together. And I think he's got that
yeah.
down.
I think another good pick for manager, now that I'm thinking about it, would have been St. Catherine of Siena.
I have
Unafraid to even approach the Pope.
mhm. You know,
Would have been a solid.
I had her in my original list, and then when I was paring it down, I did end up dropping her, but I think she would have been a good manager pick.
Actually, can we add one last position?
Okay, what do you got?
Relief pitcher.
Ooh, okay,
I
okay.
think you need a good relief pitcher. So I'll let you pick first your relief pitcher.
I'll let you go first because I don't have one picked out yet.
Oh well, then this is easy. Um, the farm boy from Oklahoma played baseball in high school. We have the one, the only, Blessed Stanley Rother.
What was the last name?
Rother, Rother. So, for those of you who don't know the story of Blessed Stanley, could be in competition with Blessed Solanus Casey. Did just have a miracle recently, around the same time that Blessed Solanus Casey did. Could be the first American saint. Went to serve the poorest of the poor in Honduras and was killed by the government for protecting his flock. If they call him in, he's gonna lock it down.
I do like that.
And he's got the farm strength.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be throwing them pitches. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was, because we had another position in, and you're right. I do have a high salary cap. This might not be the number one pick here, but I was like, it was someone who's a little lower tier here, but we're gonna get a lot of bang for our buck here. Hailing from Ireland, it ain't Patrick. I'm going Brendan the Navigator.
That would have been a good outfielder too.
I had him as a backup right fielder. Not that he needed to be a backup. No, you weren't gonna pick ruler board here, but I had a backup for everything. I think he's got the adventurous spirit that you need to really try out some interesting plays here. And he's got a strong arm. That I think he's if you need someone who's gonna be, he's only gonna be throwing 2 or 3 innings, because like 2 innings tops really, because Paul's got the endurance. I'm not worried about Paul, but if something happens to Paul, a bright light and something happens with his eyes, you need someone who's gonna lock it down with hard, fast pitches, really just holding it in place. And I think Brendan Navigator's got a good arm for that.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I'm not worried about Paul, but on the off chance we have some unexpected changes.
We got some residual blindness.
Yeah, you know what? There's a track record of him having eyesight problems, and I don't want to risk that with having a weak relief pitcher. So Brendan the Navigator, I think he's gonna be throwing fast and hard. He only needs 2 innings, but those 2 innings, he's gonna hold it down for me.
You know what I just thought? You know who'd have been a great designated hitter as well? St. Anthony. Here's why. He's gonna find the sweet spot in the bat.
St. Anthony might have been the sleeper pick just across the board.
Anyways, so where do we want to start with evaluating players? Do we want to start in the outfield, infield?
Let's start at the base. Let's go catcher.
I think you do have a solid catcher. I'm not denying this.
Mm-hmm. But
my concern is simply the intellectual side of being a catcher.
I could see that. I could see that.
Like, is he going to be able to hold it down when he needs to? Is he going to be able to call the plays? Right? St. Peter is known for being brash.
A little bit. He does have an attitude problem sometimes.
And so is he gonna rush the play?
See,
Or
my
is he gonna
thought
open in something else?
see my thought with my thinking here with Peter for that. There is no one I would like. I can't think of anyone I would rather see less running into home than Peter holding down that spot right by the plate. I don't think anyone like he's if anyone tries to charge his plate on, he's gonna truck them. He's the Rock. And yes, he can be a little bit brash, but when it comes down to it, he made the tough choices. He made very tough decisions. He had a history of issues in his younger years, but once he became Pope, he had to make a lot of tough calls. He had to make a lot of hard decisions about doctrine, and he stuck with it.
But he wasn't even good at that. St. Paul had to call him out on it.
And that's why I got them working together. That's the shortcomings of one, the other can pick up. I think individually, my pitcher and catcher might not be as good as yours.
But here's the thing. The pitch clock is going to come into effect. Are they going to agree on a pitch?
I think that they are going to run the. I think if we had this team 5 years ago when the pitch clock was a little longer, no doubt in my mind, this is the better battery. With the shorter pitch clock, you might have me a little there. I think individually, your guys are better. I think the combined battery mine is enough to overcome that loss that I'm going to have, but it's going to be tight. I think.
And then the other thing is just, we're not going to get into St. Paul, but St. Paul is pretty brash. He might balk.
He might
balk. He's a little zealous.
But hey, that's why I got Solana's Casey and I got St. Joseph there. I think they're going to help their job keep both of these two under control. I got two very powerful people in these positions, and that's why I got these guys to temper them out a little. That's my thought. Okay. That's my thought on it. But I agree.
That's your pitcher catcher combination.
Yeah, let's go to yours real quick. So, I think both these are great picks. I cannot deny you had some good. The Michael McGivney, honestly, I think is the best sleeper pick out of this entire thing. As far as he wasn't even on my radar for some reason. That was a solid pick.
Yeah. So and here's the thing, Michael McGivney, founder of the largest Catholic organization in the world.
Yep. Besides the church.
He's going to have a commanding presence on that mound.
No doubt. And you're gonna draw a lot of people with him too. Like just like when you're in the dog days of July, August, you're still gonna get people coming with those tickets.
And here's the thing, he's gonna know every step that he needs to take. He's got it thought out. He has vision. Pier Giorgio is going to have it locked down. He's got the intellectual parts. He's a university student.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to be using his lungs. He died of tuberculosis. He's just got to sit there at the mound.
That's true. That's a solid way to compensate. Like I both pick our catchers. We both like. All right, they have this one issue. How do we compensate for that? Don't make them run.
But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't think we're necessarily like, oh, this is the better for each one, because obviously we're good at defending both of our positions. I think individually you definitely have better pitcher catcher. I think they're gonna work. I think individually they're gonna work better. I think the battery I think when Paul and Peter are on it, hot streaks. When they're not on it though, we're gonna run into some trouble. So I think I'm gonna give you the edge for your pitcher catcher combo. I'm gonna give you the edge there.
That's one for me. You got to be keeping track of this.
Yep, I got. So I think we said I got one, my manager's one. You got one here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to first base. Let's talk about first base.
First base. Look, I'm a little biased here. I think I got first base.
St. Joseph is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just.
I know his age. It's a little worrying. By the time we he's a little older than some of the guys here. Not a lot, but I'm just thinking, Carpenter. He's built for this thing. He's got the back muscles. He's got the vision.
In that case, you would want him at that case with the Carpenter, because I thought about putting him for my DH. Used to slinging heavy beams. You know what I mean?
I just think he's got. I think. I want him. I didn't put him designated here because I want his presence on the field. There's nothing like having St. He's the protector. He's gonna cover that first base. Nothing's gonna get past him.
So
I foresee zero errors.
Is he too big? Is he too big to get that stretch though?
I don't think so. I think he's gonna be perfectly fine with it because he had to stretch his roles. Like he mentally he had to be flexible. He was ready to be married to Mary and start things up, and he had to be flexible. When Gabriel came and told him, "Hey, we're changing things up on you," he's like, "All right."
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Very flexible.
Very flexible.
Willing to work with punches.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's got to be flexible on all sorts of it because again, we got Paul and Peter. He's got to be able to help out when things get rough. He's got to be ready for it, and I think he's got it. But right. St. Alphonsus is not a bad pick here either. Look, give me your reasonings on him again.
So I mean, the big thing is like, so going with the theme of the Flying Franciscans, right?
Mm.
A ball goes wild, he's going to be there to get it.
I think he's got the for when like Joseph, he's going to be the guy who's 90%, like 80% of the time, he's at the mound because he knows the ball's going to get back to him. He's got a little more. He's got that ability. I think Alphonsus is going to be the one who's chasing down those foul balls and getting those errant kind of pop flies.
And that's the thing. I think he's going to be the one chasing the balls down on these foul balls and getting the outs. He's gonna be floating 4 or 5 feet in the air.
No, I think I got a solid pick there.
Toss up. It's a toss up. I could see St. Joseph.
All right.
I'll give you St. Joseph.
Okay. So we're at 2-1 here. Anyway. So, so we gave you the pitcher catcher. I've got the manager in first base. Let's look at our second base, and I think we can already safely say second base is going to you. 100%.
Oh yeah.
I'm not.
Okay, here's my one concern about Ignatius. Now I'm thinking about it. Man did have a cannonball flying to his leg.
Yeah, but are we gonna say that that's gonna be affecting him in heaven? Is that wound gonna glorify God, or is it mine? I think he's gonna be healed up and ready to go for the season. I'm not worried about that for him.
This is true, and he did do a lot of travel.
Yeah.
So it's not like his leg impeded him from being able to go and be this great missionary.
Exactly. No, I'm not worried about him at all.
So I think Padre Pio is a loss on that one.
I think it's a loss as far as from a stat. I think we're gonna have great ticket sales. People are gonna say, all right, let's see how many errors is he gonna have. There's gonna be a lot of errors second base. It's gonna be wildly entertaining. And I'm not worried. I got St. Michael there to help him, but he is, and I think he's gonna be good at as long as he gets in his glove, he's gonna be fine. His right hand though, no chance. That's gonna be going right through the stigmata.
Anytime he tries to throw, it's just gonna slip out the back.
Yeah, he's gonna be very careful with his throws. Second base is a bit of a liability here. So that's definitely going to you.
Shortstops between St. Sebastian and St. Michael.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one. You have the patron of sports.
Yeah.
But I have the commander of God's army.
Here's the question, though. Is St. Michael your wingman?
I feel like we have to call shortstop a draw. I really do.
I think shortstop is a draw. If and only if, because the question is, I mean, St. Michael can fly. He is an angel.
Yes.
They are traditionally depicted with wings.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's St. Sebastian.
It's St. Sebastian. He's the patron. Like, I think, here's what I think. I think
went to the Roman emperor and was like, hey, you're a sinner. Just called him out on it. It's like, oof.
They're both bold proclaimers of the truth in their own ways. I think St. Sebastian has a slight edge in his defense, but I think St. Michael, but neither are slouches by any means. I think St. Michael's going to have a slightly better offense though. Like when he's up to bat, power
Yeah.
swing to go with it, and he's fast. They're both fast. I think
I haven't been taking into account swinging. This is. I still think I'm fine.
you're fine. I think overall, I think we've got a pretty even team, so we're gonna call that a draw.
Okay.
Third base.
Joan of Arc between Sam and Drew.
I think you have the third base. Joan of Arc is a darn good pick.
Yeah, great. I do.
I can't. Yeah, I pick St. Andrew. I gotta rep him. Fish is a man. My namesake. And I think his connection with the catcher. I think again. I'm looking a little bit more at team dynamics where I can.
Yeah.
I think he and Peter are gonna work together very well. I just think individually he doesn't stack up to Joan of Arc, and I don't think don't think his teamwork is going to offset that enough to not give you the point for Joan of Arc.
No.
So we're at 3-2.
All right. Do
And
we
you-
want to go outfield?
Let's finish up the infield. Let's just grab the designated
Or we
hitter.
want to do designated hitter. Do we also want to do relief pitcher?
Yep. Let's do designated hitter first. I do think you
So-
got it with Moses the Black as far like overall.
Dude's a stud.
It's you got like I said, I knew you're gonna have better depth as far as like you're gonna find some of those lesser known ones, and I forgot. Like I didn't forget about Moses the Black. He just didn't come into my. I was looking for some big names, and I think Augustin's a good pick overall. I just don't. He's just not Moses the Black.
No, he's not. He's not a Moses the Black.
So we're at
Relief pitcher. It's a toss up. I do think you got me on the relief pitcher.
I think it's just a slight edge out, very slight. I think they're both gonna hold down, the 8th and 9th inning. I
think if the relief pitcher does go into bat, Stanley's got you beat.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. But we're playing
We're evaluating their skill position.
and I forget which league, but the fact we have a designated hitter implies the pitcher does not have to bat.
No.
Because I do not trust St. Paul at bat. I do not trust him at bat.
No, the dude's gonna swing on the ump.
Dude's gonna throw hands. So
All right, switching to outfield.
I like how I just imagined St. Paul is basically Babe Ruth in a lot of ways.
St. Paul, the Babe Ruth of the church.
So we're at
Fourth, I've got a
4-3.
slight edge.
Yep, you're at 4. I'm at 3. All right, let's look at outfield. So let's go left. We'll go left to right. So
I don't think Katiri's got it. I'm gonna be honest.
this
Like,
this
she's
is no, this is fair. This is what happens. She's a woman playing in a male sport here, and Joan of Arc, she plays with the big boys. She commanded an entire army. She's used to working with the boys. I think I think she was a solid pick. Don't even go there. But I think that was I want to make sure I had at least one girl represent the ladies. She just doesn't compare Joseph Cupertino. I think she's a good pick. I think she's gonna be fine. I just don't. It's different between an 8 versus a 10. I think Joseph Cupertino is a solid 10 pick for left field. I have no concerns about him.
So that's 5-3.
5-3.
You got to win the last two to tie it, dog.
I know.
And I don't think you got it.
It's. You had some better picks here overall. I will give you that.
So St. Anthony versus St. Philip Neri. St. Philip Neri's got heart. He's got heart.
He's got heart. I think he's the way that here's my one kind of almost issue with your picks for the outfield. I would have put St. Francis at center field solely because if you got the Flying Franciscans, why would you not have the guy who founded it at center field? That's the commander of your outfield, and you put him at right field. I feel like that's going to cause some tension. I feel like that's going to cause some issues.
No, St. Francis is so humble. I also put St. Francis at right field because if he wants to start singing a song and dancing, he can.
You're not wrong. I just think I gotta work I gotta try something here.
No, I mean St. Anthony in center field is such a solid pick because yes, there's going to be balls in center field, but also center field is the guy who calls it out for the other two, and so when they can't find it, he's going to call it for them.
No, you're not wrong there. Philip Neri, I
don't think he's got it. I'm sorry.
Actually, I'm trying to think. Like my one thing I did try with him is, between Kateri and Willibord, we got two definitely more peaceful, humble. Like this guy is he's a star player as far as like he has the glamour. He's got the joy. He's gonna rally. Like people are gonna look to him as a beacon in a different way. Like I got power people in my infield, my outfield. He's gonna be the one who's rallying his troops in a different way, much more positive energy. He's not. He's like he's maybe a little humble, but like what he brings to the table. That's why I put him at center field. Like I think he's got that. I think he's got the right attitude for center
Yeah,
field.
I think it's center field. Well, the other thing is you got to keep in mind St. Francis told St. Anthony to instruct the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
St. Francis gave a lot of authority to St. Anthony.
That's true. That's true. I can't argue with that.
The thing you got to think with the outfield though is like, who are going to be the people who hustle? And
I,
nobody hustled harder than the Franciscans.
I will give you that. Your team name and that. Look, you and I went really good with our team names too. You got the Flying Franciscans, got a lot of Franciscans on our team. Celestial Slurs. I picked some big hitters. I had some power people where I could put them in there. Yeah. So I think your center field. I can't compete with that. Willibord versus Francis Assisi as a general rule, yes, he wins. I do think that I'm getting the better bang for my buck. Because St. Francis, you're talking a household name saint there, and he's a founder of an order. I know that they took a vow of poverty, but he's still like cap space. I think I'm getting more bang for my buck with St. Willibord. That's my only kind of push I get with him.
I can't disagree with that.
I got a no-name boy from Northumbria, and I think he and St. Francis are very similar as far as their attitude and what they're doing in right field. I think I'm just paying a quarter of the price that you are for my right fielder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Another thing you forgot to keep in mind when you were putting your team together: who's running the home if it's a bunt? Who's getting there? Because normally your first baseman runs up and your pitcher goes to first.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what I said. I think I like that's the one downside to St. Joseph. He's not going to be as fast as some of the other guys. He's going to be much more of a plate presence. He's not going to be out there chasing the ball quite as much as St. Alphonsus is.
And I think that's going to mean that you're just going to get more. There's going to be more people on base against you.
I think potentially yes. I think I have overall a slightly better infield overall. Like combination, I think my infield is slightly edges yours out as a group. Your outfield beats mine pretty much hands. I don't think I got a single win for the outfield.
I think McGivney is going to pitch no hitter.
I think I see. Here's my thinking.
If nothing else, then because when you get a hit, there's no way you're getting on base.
Okay, I can see that. I was about to say, I think McGivney's gonna be much more consistent than Paul as far as like you're gonna like it doesn't matter where he's playing, he's gonna be good. Like conditioner thing. Paul's very flexible. He does quite a bit of travel. He knows he's very flexible, but he's moody sometimes. So I think if Paul's in the right right place, right time, right mood, he's getting to know pitcher purely on his skill. He's not even gonna have to rely on anyone. He's used to being a lone wolf sometimes when he needs to.
And see, that's my thing though, is that you also know what to expect with Paul.
Yep.
There's not enough variability where I think that he could just.
I disagree. You look at his different letters. He's playing the field wherever he needs to. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows. My only concern with Paul is ego and mood, especially with Peter, can be an issue. But when Paul's on it, I don't think you're going to find a better pitcher out there. McGivney, I see him as being consistent across the board, not necessarily adaptable, but just consistent. Like you can it could be pouring rain, bright sunshine. You're going to get you can get seven. You got 7 solid innings out of him every time. Maybe an 8, maybe a full game.
I think he's got to be adaptable. I think he is adaptable because how do you end up running the largest Catholic organization in the world if you're not adaptable?
You know, it expanded to largest after his time. I think he's made a good foundation. I think for him, he's your solid foundation, and that's what he's got for
Yeah.
him.
And then I think Blessed Stanley, like he's a great relief pitcher because you don't know what to expect with him either.
Mm-hmm.
Put this out there. The man was working in the field beside the people he was serving. He was a farmer through and through. So he was able to adapt his preaching to another continent.
Mm-hmm.
He could work side by side with them and get down and dirty when it came time for the sacraments.
Yeah. Brendan the Navigator, and my thought on him is we're getting to the eighth, ninth inning. One thing, he's fast. Dude can cover distance. So he's not just playing like on the mound. There's a pop up anywhere in the infield. He's going to be there too. So you got a little bit of extra coverage. He's going to help St. Joseph out there. I'm not worried about that for him. And I think what we're going to get out of him is, you've got the variability with Stanley Rother. I think Brendan the Navigator is going to be he's seen a lot, so he's nothing phases him, and we're going to get consistent hard pitches. All the 2 innings that I got him out there, that's what he's there for.
Yeah.
So
I do think my team wins overall.
I think if you think this is fair, are you cool with a tie in right field? Just purely based on the fact that they're very similar, and I'm getting a little extra bang. I'm not going to take a win in right field, but I'll take a tie. I think that's fair. So it's 4-5, 4-6, 4-6 you. I think that's a fair comparison if we're looking position by position. So, I think we go to the World Series. These two teams, we're going all 7 games with the Flying Franciscans winning out in this. Yeah, 6-7 games of the World Series, and the Flying Franciscans edging us out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was fun.
So, save that there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that little fun, little different. That's our first time doing something like this.
Drop your own baseball team in the comments.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your. If you need to steal some of our people, I'll allow it. We did take up some pretty big names there. But bonus points if you can come up with a team that's just viable without taking any of ours. But yeah, and also let us know in the comments. Do you think our analysis was correct? Do you think the Flying Franciscans beat out the Celestial Sluggers?
We should do this with basketball next year during March Madness.
I think basketball. I think what we should do for football, when football season comes up, we work together and draft the best offense and defense.
You take offense, I take defense.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a lot of fun. How you been going deeper?
That's a great question. I'm just trying to make bread, my homie. I'm just trying to make some money.
No, I feel that.
So, but that's a toughie. I mean, I've been getting back into reading lately. Been going fishing. Same old.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about our going deeper segment.
This is what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do a daily holy hour. My struggle with doing a daily holy hour is I never know what to do during my holy hour. Something like, oh, just go in there and just be with Jesus. And that's great. Except for me, I struggle because I'm like, I can't just go in. I need to have some type of rubric to get me started to meditate on. So I found this from a group called the Sacred Heart Legion. It probably takes me 15 to 20 minutes to do the whole thing.
Okay.
So, or probably closer to 30 minutes with a rosary. But it's great because it does help me to focus, right? And so, like, our parish is doing 48 hours of adoration for the celebration of the in preparation for Corpus Christi in a couple of weeks. Every parish throughout the whole diocese is doing 40 hours of adoration on different days. So each deanery splits it up between all the parishes in the deanery. Every 40 hours is covered from now until the feast day of Corpus Christi.
Okay.
So I'm trying to make it a point to try to go to adoration as often as I can.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Also praying no Venus.
I think for me, the way I've been going deeper, because this is the one like going deeper every week. Like, oh, what's the new thing I'm doing? I think for me, my way of going deep, I'm just trying to be consistent with the things I've been doing. Summer is always a rough time for me as far as consistency because Miriam's home now. So like things change a lot. Like Miriam's home most of the time now, which I love having her around. But it's just like the way my schedule changes. Like my schedule used to be all right, oriented around when is she going to be home versus not going to be home. She's at school consistently. Now there's a lot more play with what we have to do with our time. And with that comes a lot more chance for me to just kind of slack off. So I'm really just been trying to be more consistent about all right, making sure I'm being consistent with going to the gym, being consistent about my time in the office versus working from home, being at my meetings, stuff like that. Just really being more consistent. Um, and then on a new challenge, I guess that comes with that's coming up. We have officer elections for the local Knights of Columbus on Wednesday, and I'm the only one running for treasurer. I've been kind of pushed into that role. They want me to be the treasurer, so that'll be a new challenge. Just being a little bit more involved with the Knights. It's not a very difficult role, but it is an important one. I'll get to work with my friend Mike, who's the financial secretary, but it's just me again another layer of all right. How am I being more involved with the Knights and the local people in Monroe? Showing my face so the local community knows who I am as an kind of an
Mhm.
outsider still. Three and a half years apparently people still don't know who you are. But
Well, you really haven't been a staple of the community for 3.5 years.
in certain ways I have, but certain ways I haven't. But yeah, so that's kind of like where it's coming for me. It's all right, being consistent and the new challenge of being the treasurer, just again, and also be on the building association. So I'll be a voting member for
Mm,
that. So trying to
wow.
yeah, trying to make it more than just a bingo hall.
So when do you run for mayor of Monroe?
Never. Although there is a scary trend that the past four treasurers of the Knights at our branch have also gone on to become the Grand Knights. So I'm hoping that there's a bit of time before that gets thrown at me.
Worthy Grand Knight.
I'm ready. I got the side part down.
Mhm.
All right. Well, with that, thank you guys all for sticking around and listening to us ramble about some of our favorite Saints and one of America's greatest pastimes, baseball. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Oh, I need to throw a mom mention in here. I've gotten one in every episode. Um,
Hi, Mom.
Hi, mom. You get a shout out still, just a little different. Um, wow, you really miss smoking, don't you?
Just a beef stick.
I know. Yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. In the comments, please throw out your own team names, or if you have any disagreements with our selections or our reasonings for things, we'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. With that, I think we're gonna call it here.
Don't. My team's perfect.
Clearly not, because I did score a few points. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day.